Someone walked out of your life, and part of you still doesn't understand why. Maybe you've been asking Allah to bring them back. But what if that prayer is the one He's choosing not to answer? Because answering it would destroy you. Think about the last person who left, a friend who disappeared, a relationship that fell apart, a family member who grew distant. You replayed the memories. You questioned yourself. You made dua. And yet, the door stayed closed. And in the silence of that closed door, you started to wonder, did Allah forget about me? He didn't. In fact, the removal was the answer. Here's what nobody tells you about loss in Islam. We're taught that Allah gives blessings. We celebrate when things arrive, a new job, a new relationship, a new beginning. But we've never been taught to celebrate when things leave. Yet in the Quran, Allah does something remarkable. He tells us that you may hate something, and it is good for you. He doesn't say you'll understand it. He doesn't say it won't hurt. He says it is good for you, whether you feel it or not. So the question isn't, why did this person leave? The real question is, what was Allah protecting you from that you couldn't see? There's a concept in Islamic tradition about hijab, and no, not the one you're thinking of. There's a veil between you and the unseen world. You walk through life seeing only the surface of things: conversations, actions, words, appearances. But Allah sees beneath all of that. He sees the intentions buried in a person's heart that even they haven't admitted to themselves yet. He sees the version of you that exists 5 years from now. He sees the damage that would have been done if that person had stayed. You were only working with what was visible. Allah was working with everything. Let me tell you about a pattern you've probably experienced but never named. When someone is removed from your life by Allah, not by circumstance, not by coincidence, but by divine decree, there's almost always a moment that comes later. Maybe 6 months later, maybe 2 years, where you suddenly see the situation clearly, where you find out something about that person you didn't know, or where you look at the life you've built without them and realize, I would have never gotten here if they had stayed. That moment of clarity, that's Allah showing you the edge of His wisdom. Just the edge, because the full depth of it, you may never fully comprehend in this world. Now, here's something that might actually challenge you. Sometimes the person Allah removes isn't a bad person. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they genuinely loved you. Sometimes you genuinely loved them. And this is where the test gets harder. Because it's easy to accept the removal of someone toxic. It's much harder to accept the removal of someone good. But here's the distinction that changes everything. Something being good doesn't mean it's meant for you. And something being painful doesn't mean it's punishment. Ibrahim alayhi salam was asked to leave his wife and infant child in a barren desert. No food, no water, no people. By all visible logic, this was a disaster. And yet, from that moment of departure, grew Zamzam, the blessed well that still flows today, and the city of Makkah itself. What looked like abandonment was actually the foundation of something eternal. Allah doesn't just remove people to protect you from harm. Sometimes He removes people to create space for something that cannot exist while they're still there. Think about this carefully. When your life is full of noise, full of people, full of distractions, your heart doesn't have the silence it needs to hear Allah. Loneliness, as unbearable as it feels, is sometimes the exact condition your soul needs to turn back, to finally sit in prayer, not out of habit, but out of genuine need. To open the Quran, not because someone told you to, but because you're desperate for something real. The people who were filling that space, even if they meant well, were sometimes the very thing standing between you and your Lord. And if that sounds harsh, understand that Allah doesn't remove things from the believer out of cruelty. He removes things the way a surgeon removes something from a body, precisely, purposefully, with full knowledge of what he's doing, even when the patient doesn't understand the procedure. Now, I want to address something you might be feeling right now: the guilt. The belief that somehow if you had been better, they would have stayed. If you had said the right things, made the right choices, been the right person, the departure wouldn't have happened. Let go of that. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most beloved of all creation, lost people his entire life. He lost Khadija, the woman who believed in him when no one else did. He lost his children. He lost companions and friends to war, to illness, to time. If loss were a punishment for not being enough, then no one would have suffered it more unjustly than him. But it wasn't punishment. It was the path. And on that path, he became the person whose name is called 5 times a day from every corner of the earth until the end of time. Your losses are part of your path too. Here's the thing about tawakkul, true reliance on Allah, that most people get wrong. People think tawakkul means you feel peaceful about what's happening, that you smile through the pain and feel serene. But that's not tawakkul. Tawakkul means you move forward even when you don't feel peaceful. It means you say, Ya Allah, I don't understand this, and I'm choosing to trust you anyway. Not because the pain has disappeared, but because your certainty in Allah is stronger than your certainty in your own understanding. That is one of the hardest things a human being can do. And Allah knows that, which is why He doesn't ask you to be okay with it. He asks you to be patient with it. There's a difference. Patience is not silence. Patience is not pretending it doesn't hurt. Sabr is continuing to walk toward Allah even when your heart is heavy. Sabr is making dua for someone even after they've hurt you. Sabr is waking up for Fajr on the morning after the worst night of your life and saying, I'm still here, Ya Allah. That's the kind of patience that doesn't go unrewarded. And now, the thing I've been building toward this entire time, the reason all of this matters right now in your life at this exact moment. Every person in your life is either building you toward Allah or pulling you away from Him. That's it. There's no neutral ground. No one is just there. Every relationship is either elevating your akhirah or costing it. And only Allah has the full picture of which is which. So when He removes someone, He is not taking something from you. He is guarding something in you. Your deen, your direction, your destiny. He is being more protective of you than you are of yourself. The doors that close aren't punishments. They're redirections. And the silence after a departure isn't emptiness. It's space. Space that Allah Himself is filling, slowly, in ways you can't always see yet. You've been looking at the closed door. You've been knocking on it, wondering why it won't open. But behind you, quietly, another door has been opening this entire time, and it leads somewhere your grief has been too loud to let you notice. Turn around. The one who removes is the same one who provides. The one who closes is the same one who opens. And the one who allows the pain is the same one who promises, with absolute certainty, that with every hardship comes ease. Not after the hardship, with it. He is with you in this, not waiting for you to be okay, not watching from a distance, with you. In the middle of the loss, in the confusion, in the grief, in the question you can't stop asking. And the answer to that question was never going to come from that person staying. It was always going to come from you finally understanding that what Allah takes, He takes with wisdom. What He gives with mercy. And what He plans for you is greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. The removal wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of the one worth telling.